30 Yada Yahowah, Shanah, years. 2. Yowbel, homecoming. Time to return. In our quest to understand God's calendar, there are a number of things we must consider. The first of these, the order and duration of creation, was presented in the first 3 volumes of Yada Yahowah. Second, we must come to appreciate the arrangement and the purpose of the mode Mikra, which we assessed in the next 3 volumes of Yada Yahowah. To this knowledge, we must now add an understanding of the timing and intent of the Yowbel, something we will address in this chapter. The first mention of a Yowbel is found in the second book of the Torah, Instructions, Shemoth, Names, Exodus 19, where we read, "During the 3rd month, Bar ha-Hadesh ha-Shalishi, in this 3rd time of renewal, of withdrawing, la yatsa, of taking out and removing, the children of Yisrael, Beni Yisrael, away from, Min, the realm of religious and political oppression, Erez Miraim, the land of tyranny and conspiracy, of subjugation and misery, in that day, Bar ha-Yam ha-Zeh, they entered into, Bo, they arrived at, the place the word is pondered, Midbar, the place where the word is considered, from my, to ask questions about Debar. The word, of Sini, the sign held by my hand for the child led by my hand, commonly transliterated Sinai. Shemoth 19-1. They set out, moving on, Wa Nasa, from Raphidim, being comforted and supported, Min Raphidim, and 31 they came to the place to consider the word, Wa Bo Midbar, of Sini, the sign held by the hand for the child led by my hand, commonly transliterated Sinai and most often called Korib. Then they camped out, Wa Shanah, to contemplate the word, Bar ha-Midbar, in the wilderness or open place. There, Israel set up a campsite, Wa Shanah Sham Yisrael, before, Nejd, right in front of, the mountain, Ha-ha, Shemoth 19-2, while Moshe, the one who draws out, ascended unto, Allah El, climbed up to, the Almighty, Ha Elohim. Then, Wa, Yahowah, our Eloah, God as directed in his Torah, teaching regarding his Ha-Yeh, existence and our Shalom, restoration, called out to him, inviting and welcoming him, Kara El-Hu, summoned him and met with him to read and recite with him, Kalim perfect, from the mountain, Min Ha-Ha, saying, Amar, this is what you should say, Ko Amar, to the family of Yaakov, La Beth Yaakov, to the household of the descendants of Jacob. Tell the children of Israel, Wa Nagad Beni Israel, inform the offspring of those who engage and endure with God, Shemoth 19-3, you, yourselves, have witnessed, Atam Ra, you have seen, what, for the benefit of the relationship, Asher, to show the way to get more out of life, I did too, Asalah, I accomplished with, Miraim, the crucibles of political and religious oppression, Miraim. The cauldrons of cruel persecution where the people were confined and restricted by military and economic institutions, plural of Matzor, to be delineated as a foe and besieged, during a time of testing and tribulation, from to be bound and enclosed by an adversary, assaulted and shut up in the likes of a concentration camp, by those showing great hostility, and how I lifted you up, Wa Nasa eth Atom, I carried you, upon the wings of eagles, Al Kanaf Nesha, and I brought you to myself 32 Wabo eth Atom El Eni. Shemoth, Names, Exodus 19:4. This timing was not random. On the 15th day of Abib, the 1st month of the year, during Matzah, unyeasted bread, the children of Israel were escorted out of Miraim, religious and political oppression in 1447 BCE. Now, 50 days later, while observing Shabat during the 3rd month, they were being enriched, enlightened, and empowered by the revelation of the Torah. This is insightful for 2 reasons. First, the Yowbel is modeled each year by Shabat. Both follow the same 7/7 + 1 = 50 formula. They encapsulate 7 Shabbat observances. And second, with the Torah being revealed on Shabat, we find affirmation that it is the Mikra responsible for our enrichment and enlightenment, our enablement, and empowerment. Shabat is, therefore, the mechanism Yahweh is using to deliver the rewarding benefits of the covenant. For the first time in a long time, the word of God would be contemplated and considered. So, while Midbar is commonly translated as wilderness, as a compound of my, to ask questions and seek answers regarding the Debar word, I think it has a higher calling. Speaking of high, Yahweh brought Moses right back to the place they had met. The return to Sini, the sign handed to the child who grasps hold, isn't a coincidence either. It is symbolic of the Mikra taking us back to where we began our relationship with God. Sukkah, shelters, the 7th and final Mikra, represents our return to Gan Eden, the garden of great joy. 6,000 years after our exodus from the garden, 5 days after Yahweh's return, he will lead us back into this promised land. This is the reason, Shanah, the verb which means to camp out, was used twice in this narrative. 33 Since the lexicons neglect to define Sini, I turned to the letters which comprise it for elucidation. Sini, written right to left is. These pictographs represent a sign, an outstretched arm with an open hand, and the conception of a new life. Therefore, a sign conveying the words of the Torah is being handed to the children of Israel such that they grasp hold of it and grow by reading its message. The first word spoken by Yahowah in this context explains why he had gathered his people in this place. Yahowah is not only revealing that the benefits of the Mikra of Shabat include being enriched, empowered, enlightened, enabled, and elevated by his Torah, he was Kara, calling them out of religion and politics to the promised land. Kara serves as the verbal root of Mikra, the first four of which God's children had now celebrated, Pesach, Matzah, Bikurim, and Shabat. On these days, we are called out of this world and invited to meet with God, welcomed into his family, and encouraged to read and recite his Torah. This is what we are witnessing in these words. It is all about our Yatsa, exodus from religious and political oppression, and our journey through the Midbar, place where the words are contemplated. In this way, we are invited to be with Yahowah, to have him lift us up as if on the wings of eagles. God has done his part, so now it's up to us. And so now, Wa Otter, therefore, at this time, you genuinely, consistently, and demonstrably listen to, Shama, you hear and pay especially close attention to, Kal infinitive, Kal imperfect, my voice, Wa Kal any, and, Wa, closely examine and carefully consider, Shema, you literally and completely explore and evaluate, Kal perfect, that which is associated with, Eth, my covenant, Beth any, my family-oriented relationship agreement, singular, then, Wa, you will be 34 higher, you will exist as, Kal perfect. Able to approach me and be with me, La any, for me, as a highly valued, set apart, protected, and treasured commodity, Segula, as a personal possession, distinct and separated from, Min, all other people, Shul Ha-Am, even though, Ky, the entire earth, Shul Ha-Eres, is mine, La any. Shemoth 19-5. Then you, yourselves, shall actually and continually exist as, Wa atom higher, you will genuinely be, Kal imperfect, a realm of ministerial messengers and counselors, Mamlaka Kohen, a reign of priestly witnesses, from Malak, messengers who provide advice and counsel to consider, and a people of different ethnicities, Wagawi, individuals from different races or places, who are set apart and special, Kadosh, uniquely devoted. These are, La, the words and statements, Hadabar, which, to show the way to the benefits of the relationship, Asher, you should continually speak to, Dabar El, you constantly communicate to empower and enable, Peel imperfect, the subject enables the object on an ongoing basis, the children who engage and endure with God, Beni Yisrael. Shemoth, names, Exodus 19:6. We have heard it 100 times, but it bears repeating because Yahowah has reiterated it, listen to him. All good things begin when we hear what God has to say. The best way to accomplish this, and the most relevant topic to consider, is to read and recite what Yahowah communicated regarding his Berith, covenant. By doing so, we combine the benefits of Shama, listening, and Shema, observing, while focused upon the subject most endearing to God and beneficial to us, his family. Those who approach Yahowah in this way are highly valued by 35 God, set apart and protected as a treasured commodity, becoming the most important people on earth. We do not have to win battles, win elections, or win the lottery for this to occur. We simply Shama, listen to the Dabar El, word of God, and Shema, focus on exploring what he revealed about his Berith, covenant, and our success is guaranteed. There was an unexpected shift in emphasis in the midst of this presentation to the children of Israel. The opportunity to Mamlaka, serve as witnesses and counselors, ministering to the needs of the people pursuant to understanding the Torah's instructions, is for everyone, Gawi, people of every race and place. So long as we are Torah observant, so long as we listen to Yahowah, so long as we are set apart from religion and politics and unto him, we are good to go. Our mission is to consistently communicate these words, showing the way to receive the benefits of the relationship. Those who listen become Beni Yisrael. This prelude to the Yowbel continues. Therefore, Moses came, Bo Moshe, and called out to, summoning, Wakara, invited to a meeting to read and recite the proclamation, the elders, La Zakan, the community leaders and seasoned citizens, of the people, Ha-Am, and he placed before them, Wasimla Panahem, all of the words, Eth, Shul Ha-Dabar Ha-El-Li, which, to convey the way to receive the benefits of the relationship, Asher, Yahowah, as directed in his Torah, teaching regarding his higher existence, had instructed him, Zawahu. Shemoth 19-7. Then every one of the people, Shul Ha-Am, replied, Anna, they responded, Kal imperfect, all together at the same time, Yodor, united and alike as one, and they said, Wa ma, everything, Shirl, which, for the benefit of the relationship, Asher, Yahowah has 36 spoken, Dabar, communicated in these words, we will act upon, engage in, and do, Asar, we will capitalize upon, profit from, and accomplish, Kal imperfect. Moses reiterated the words of the people, Washu Moshe eth ha'am, to Yahowah, El Yahowah. Shemoth 19-8. Yahowah Kara, invited Moses to hear what he had to say, so Moses Kara, summoned the elders of Israel to listen to the words God had shared with him. At this point, it was Yahowah speaking to Moses who spoke to Israel. With one exceedingly important exception, when Yahowah addressed his people directly from the summit of Korib, this is the way God has chosen to communicate with us. Moses did as Yahowah instructed, which was to set all of the words God had communicated before the people. This realization precludes the myth that the Talmud was conveyed orally to the elders of Israel at this time. Further, the elders were all in agreement, plainly stating that they would act upon and engage in what Yahowah had revealed through Moses. They did not ask for another, different Torah. They did not seek to modify it, explain it, comment upon it, or add to it, all of which further buries the mythology which underlies Judaism's most cherished delusions. One of the many reasons Yahowah detests Judaism and is holding today's rabbis accountable for being unfaithful and untrustworthy, thereby misleading his people, is presented in this exchange between these men and God. The elders, representing today's rabbis, agreed to engage as the Torah instructed. This would have precluded removing Yahowah's name, composing a Talmud, and being religious. This alone should be sufficient to signal the death knell of Judaism, but God is not done. 37 And so, Yahowah, Yahweh, from, Yahowah and Yada, hand of Yah, beloved of Yah, related to Yah, to acknowledge and appreciate Yah, and to know and understand Yah, said to, Amar El, Moshe, one who draws us out, behold, Hine, listen up, I, am going to come to you, Bo Elota, will arrive, approaching you, in, Bar, a cloud, Ab, a protective and covering canopy. This cloud is designed to block some of the light, Ha-Anan, the partially obscuring visible condensation of water in the atmosphere, in order for, Bar-Adur, so that and the reason being that, the people, Ha-Am, the family, to hear, Shama, to listen to, me speaking with you, Bar-Dabar Enim Otter. And in this way, Wa-Gam, then, therefore, they will have reason to trust in you, recognizing that what you have established endures, Bar-Otter man, they will realize that you are trustworthy and reliable, forever, La Olam, eternally. So when, Moses reported, Moshe Nagad, the statements, F. Dabari, of the people, Ha-Am, to, El, Yahowah, a transliteration of Yahowah as instructed in his Torah, teaching regarding his higher existence, Shemoth 19-9, then, Yahowah, God's name transliterated as guided by his Torah, instructions on his higher existence, said to Moses, Amar El Moshe, walk, Holok, go, to the people, El Ha-Am, and set them apart, Kadash, dedicate them as special, this day, Ha-Yawm, and tomorrow, Wa-Machar, thereafter and into the future. Have them wash their clothing so that they are clean, Wa-Kabas Simlahem, they should have their apparel laundered. Shemoth 19:10. 38 And, they should be, higher, prepared to be established, Kun, ready, having decided to be reliant and supported, on the third day, La Ha-Yawm Ha-Shalishi. Because indeed, KY, in the third day, Bar Ha-Yawm Ha-Shalishi, during the third day, Yahowah, the proper pronunciation of Yahowah, our Eloah, God as directed in his Torah, teaching regarding his Ha-Yah, existence and our Shalom, restoration, will descend, Yarad, will lower and diminish an aspect of himself, coming from a higher, more elevated place and state to a lower one, to approach before the eyes, La Ein, in order to facilitate the observations, perceptions, and perspective, of the entire community. Shel Ha-Am, all of the people, upon Mount Sinai, Al-Ha-Sinai, the Almighty's mount for the sign held by my hand for the child led by my hand, commonly transliterated Sinai. Shemoth, names, Exodus 19:11. Yahowah wanted to provide proof for his people that he was speaking with Moses. While our verification comes through the ability to validate the scientific and historical claims, and through fulfilled and impending prophecy, their time with God, while intense, was too short for prophecy to serve as proof of inspiration. Moreover, while liberating the children of Israel from Miriam should have been sufficient, their memories seemed to be as short as their loyalties. It is instructive for us to affirm Yahowah's approach when time is short as it was during the 40 years of the Yatzah, Exodus, and as it is now with just 10 years remaining until Yahowah's return in 2033. Under such circumstances, it is better to provide a witness to previous prophecies. That way, those who are interested are able to validate the herald's legitimacy. His credibility is not based upon what he foretells, in that there isn't enough time between affirming the prediction and presenting the validation, but is based instead upon accurately conveying 39 what was foretold thousands of years ago. This way the fulfillments corroborates the authenticity of Yahweh's testimony, which is all that has ever mattered. It is why I am a witness, not a Nabi. While it may sound counterintuitive, had Yahweh inspired a Nabi, prophet at this time to awaken his people, there would have been no way to validate his authenticity within such a short window. By the time the most revealing prophecies were validated, it would be too late to capitalize. Therefore, by having Yahweh reveal through his prior prophets, all of whom are already affirmed, that he will be dispatching a Chota, Basar, Nakri, Ed, and Zarawa named Yada, to relay his message to his people, when he arrives and does this very thing, he derives instant credibility, something that would require a much longer time for a prophet. There is also considerable merit in Yahweh being able to explain that his people are without excuse. The truth has been available for thousands of years. All that was needed was a willingness to accept God at his word. Returning to the concept of Yahweh engaging with humankind in a diminished form, be aware that until we are prepared by the Berith, Mikre, and Ruach to approach Yahweh, his light is too intense for mortals to endure. So, during the Exodus, God masked his brilliance behind a cloud, similar to looking up at the sun through obscuring phenomena. What follows is also important. Yahweh wanted his people to know that the Torah, guidance he was conveying through Moses, would be everlasting. As a result, it cannot be replaced by a Talmud or New Testament. While 1,500 to 2,000 years may seem like forever, it is but a blink of an eye in eternity. Yahweh wanted the people prepared. Washing their clothes would be symbolic of removing the stains of faulty religion and politics from our souls on Matzah, such that, on the third day, following Pesach and Matzah, we are prepared to be adopted into Yahweh's covenant during Bikurim. There is another implication with the third day. Yahweh will descend from heaven at the conclusion of the third Yowbel of days, 6,000 years after our exile from the garden. 3 sets of 40 Yowbel, 50-year increments, separate the most important events in time. These include the 2,000-year period from the expulsion of Adam from Eden to the presentation of the Berith with Abraham. The second 40 Yowbel epoch transpired from year 2000 year to year 4000 year, when father and son fulfilled the first 4 Mod Mikre, Pesach, Matzah, Bikurim, and Shabuah, in 33 CE. The third and final span of 40 Yowbels will conclude in year 6000 year or 2033. Then, Yahweh and Daud will descend from heaven to honor the promise of Yom Kippurim, reconciling the relationship with Israel such that a remnant of God's people can camp out together through year 7000 year. Therefore, you should set up landmarks, Gabal, you should establish the bounds, for the people, Eth-Ha-Am, on behalf of the family, all around, coming full circle, Sabib, to surround and encase, completing the circuit, from Sabab, to turn around, for the purpose of communicating, Lama, you should choose to be especially observant, Shema, elect of your own free will to carefully examine and consider what you see, being diligently focused, Nifil imperative, regarding your approach to, La'atam, ascending. Allah, being lifted and rising up, the mountain, Bah-ha-ha, in touch, Wanaga, reaching out to approach, with the full extent of what it represents right to the very end, Bar-Katzahu, with its foundation and duration defined as the parts which comprise the whole when viewed comprehensively. 41 Anyone who strikes in an attempt to damage, Shurl-ha-Naga, all who touch, seeking to weaken, that which is associated with the mountain, Bah-ha-ha, he will assuredly die, resulting in eternal destruction, Moth, he will end up dead, ultimately ceasing to exist, Kal infinitive Hoffel imperfect. Shemoth, names, Exodus 19:12. Consider the Torah timeline, which is presented under resources at YadaYah.com, our attempt to set up the landmarks which denote the events which have played out over the past 6,000 years. Much of it even pertains to the mountains of God, Sinai, Korib and of course, Moriah, Moriah. Since life with Yahweh is limitless, the Gabal were to be seen as landmarks guiding us to God through the Mikre. From this perspective, Sabib reveals that our journey will come full circle because we will return to where we began, from Eden to Eden. I suspect that this is what Yahweh wants us to notice and contemplate so that we, too, may ascend this mountain along with Moses and listen to God. In this way, Yahweh wants us to recognize the Katzah, full extent of what we are being offered so that at the end of this journey we will be ready to rise. Alternatively, the antithesis of this approach would be the halakha of the rabbis, who have sought to weaken the influence of God's testimony such that Jews would choose to listen to them instead. But this is the way of death and the destruction of one's soul. When it comes to the Torah of our God, we should look intently with our eyes, taking it all in, without altering or erasing any of it with our hands. Do not reach out and make contact, lo naga, do not seek to strike it down, inflict or plague it with any disease, or diminish it in any way, kal imperfect, with a 42-hand, bar hu yod, using one's capacity to influence and control, especially right, because, indeed, he will be removed and tossed aside, perhaps even pelted in a cascade of stones, sakal, either that or, he shall be hurled away and destroyed, yara, whether, a beast, behema, or whether, a person, an individual. His life will be over, lo chair. This warning leads us to Yahowah's first mention of the Yowbel. With the drawing up and extension of, bar mashak, then following the guidance and leadership of the deferred and yet prolonged sounding of, the Yowbel, Yahowah's Father and God, Ha Yowbel, Yahowah's signal, the sounding of the trumpet comprised of a ram's horn, symbolizing the power, influence, breath, and message of Yah while denoting the 50-year intervals of time between redemptive occasions, a compound of Yahowah, Ab, Father, Bar, Bai, and El, God, meaning Yahowah, our Father, is God, they should, of their own volition, ascend by being lifted up, Hemalah, they should consistently elect to rise and to actually grow, kal imperfect Joseph, in association with, Bar, the mountain, Shemoth, names, Exodus 19:13. Our ascent to God is inextricably linked to the Yowbel. And it is not until we are properly prepared, liberated from human control, and our debts forgiven, that we can ascend to Yahowah. This process, timing, and symbolism were facilitated and explained on this mountain with the revelation of the Torah, which we have been encouraged to observe. As we ponder the etymological basis for the title, Yowbel, we are drawn to the realization that there are over 40 similar names. Each begins with Yaw, serving as a contraction of Yahweh and Yahowah. These include in part, 43 Yahweh, Yeh is our Father and Yowel, Yeh is God. There is also Yowbel, with Yahowah Almighty, Yahcha, Yeh lives, Yaukel, Yeh is able, Yahnatan, Yeh gives Yazif, Yeh enables, Yaud, Yeh's witness, Yaura, Yeh instructs, and Yautham, Yeh perfects. Since these names appear no fewer than 700 times, it is only natural to associate Yahowah with his Yowbel. The two most commonly cited words applicable to the Beith, family home, in Yowbel include Ab, Father and Bar, with in, and by. And of course, with the lamed, shepherd's staff, El means Almighty God. Further, El, God and Ab, Father both begin with Aleph, ram with horns, which is relevant because the Yowbel are announced with the sounding of a ram's horn. Observing Yowbel, as a collective whole, we see the hand of God securing the home of the shepherd. This known, we will discover that Yowbel is used interchangeably with Shofar, the ram's horn trumpet indelibly linked with Towrah, trumpets. This is the mode where the beneficiaries of the first four Mikrei are asked to convey Yahowah testimony along with a warning that to ignore it is lethal. In his introduction to his Yowbel, Yahowah said that we should set up landmarks to show people the way and establish the bounds in time to reveal when the full extent of his plan would unfurl, right to the final banner. So, in recognition that we are coming full circle and returning to where our relationship began, a close inspection of the concluding chapters of Yeshaya, Isaiah reveals that the final Yowbel is our day of destiny, the final invitation to reconcile our relationship with Yahowah. 44 The purpose of the Yowbel is explained in the heart of Yahowah's Torah, teaching, in Kara, Leviticus 25. But before we go there, let's pursue the prophetic portrait of the final Yowbel at the far extremity of time. It is dramatically presented against the contrasting corruption of Judaism in Yeshaya, Isaiah 56-61. By comparing the adverse effects of Judaism to the benefits of the Yowbel, we are confronted with a choice. With so much riding on our decision, God's hope is that ours is informed and rational. For this is what, Yahowah, says, Amar, be observant and consider, Shema, the means to exercise good judgment, and justly resolve disputes, making good decisions, Mishpat. Then, Wah, engage, acting upon, Asar, that which is correct and vindicating, Zardaka, because indeed, my deliverance and resulting salvation, Yahshua Eni, are approaching and personal, Karobla Eni. Therefore, Wah, the one who is correct about me, Zardaka Eni, will come, Labo. He will be revealed, Galah. Yeshaya, Isaiah 56:1. Blessed by the relationship, joyous and productive, Ashri, is the person, Inaush, who acts upon and engages in, Asar, this, Joth. The descendant, Waben, of Adam, by observing, Shema, the Shabat, the seventh day, Shabat, and by not corrupting it, Minchal Hu, he is empowered and strengthened, enlightened and restored, Chazak, by it, Bar Hai. By being observant, Wa Shema, his hand, and that which he influences, Yahu, is kept from engaging in, Minasah, anything inappropriate or irrational, Ra. Yashaya 56-2. So do not say regarding, Wa Alamah, the observant son of a foreign land, the one who knows and understands through thoughtful examination, then who 45 acknowledges by being discerning, Wa Ben Ha-Nekah, who has formed a relationship with, Lawa El, Yahowah, Yahowah, something which would suggest, La Mama, Yahowah, has abandoned me, preventing me from being included, but Al-Badal Eni, as part of his family, Minin Alam-Hu. And let not the esteemed and authorized designee say, Wa Alamah Ha-Series what now, if, Hen, I have become a silenced counselor and muted messenger, Eni Etz Yabish. Yashaya 56-3. To the contrary, this is what, Kyko, Yahowah, Yahowah, says, Amar, on behalf of individuals who have been castrated as a result of the positions they have taken as leaders, La Ha-Series, of those who provide guidance regarding the benefits of the relationship, Asher, by being consistently observant and actively attentive, Shema, during my Shabbats, Eth Shabbatoth Eni, who choose, Basha, to walk along the correct path, Bar Asher, in deference to me, out of respect for me and to please me, eager to experience this with me, Chafetz, and, Wa, who are willing to demonstrate an intense desire to learn about and become empowered, Chazak, by my covenant, Barbarith Eni. Yashaya 56-4. I will offer, Wa Nathan, to them, Lahem, in my home and in my family, Barbaith Eni, and within my protected enclosure, Wa Bar Chauma Eni, an outstretched and welcoming hand, Yod, along with a name, Wa Shem, which is even better, Tob, than other sons and daughters, Min Ben Wa Min Bath. I will give to him and them, Nathan Lahu, Hem, an everlasting and eternal, Olam, designation, Shem, which, for having shared the benefits of the relationship, Asher, will never be removed or taken away, Lo Karath. Yashaya 56-5. 46 The children, Wa Beni, of the observant and discerning foreigner, Ha-Nekah, have formed a relationship with, Ha-Lawa Al, Yahowah. They serve him, La Shirathu, and are in love with, Wa La Ehabeth, Yahowah's, Yahowah, name, Shem, seeking to exist as his co-workers, La Haya La Hu La Ebed, always observing, Shirl Shema, the Shabat, seventh day, Shabat, making it special by not disrespecting or perverting it, Min Chol Hu. They willingly demonstrate an intense desire to learn about, Chazak, my covenant, Barbarith Eni. Yashaya 56-6. It is my will, Tafela Eni, to bring, Wabo, them to my set-apart mountain, Hemel Ha-Kodesh Eni, and cause them to rejoice, such that they are related, Wasamakhem, in the family, Barbaith. Their uplifting sacrifices and elevating offerings, Olahem Wa Zebakhem, will be accepted, La Ratzon, on my altar, Al-Mizbeach Eni. This is because, KY, my house, Baith Eni, my home and family, shall be called, Kara, a home, Baith of intervention, of reasoned requests and sound judgment, Tafela, for the entire family, La Shirl Ha'am. Yashaya, 56-7. Yahowah, Yahowah, my upright one, Edeni, who gathers, Kabats, yet again, Od, the scattered, Nadak, of Yisrael, Yisrael, announces, in advance of it occurring, Naum, I will assemble, bringing together, Kabats, before him, Al-Hu, those he has obtained by encouraging them to be called out and to draw near, La Kabats Hu. Yashaya 56-8. Those assigned to be Israel's lookouts, Zapha Hu, are blind, Ewa. They are all, Shirl Hem, ignorant and opposed to Yada, without understanding, without revelation or respect, and are thus clueless, Lo Yada. They are universally, Shirl Hem, dumb mongrels, incapable of intelligent speech, Ilam Keleb, without the capacity to understand or the ability to prevail, 47 unqualified and incapable, utterly incompetent, Lo Yakol, barking and howling incomprehensibly, babbling Babylonian prophets, La Nabak, panting while dreaming, Hazar, lying around smitten with their inactivity and lack of awareness, Shakab Ahab La Num. Yashaya 56-10. These mongrels, Waha Keleb, have the soul of a goat, as they are stubborn, aggressive, and disagreeable creatures, who are bitterly antagonistic, easy Nipesh. They never acknowledge that they have taken too much, never admit that they are gluttonous sexual deviants, unrestrained and insatiable, wallowing in abundance, Lo Yada Sebar. Those tending the flock, Wahem Ra, are ignorant and irrational, devoid of understanding, clueless and disrespectful, neither perceiving nor comprehending, and thus lacking the capacity to teach, Lo Yada Bin. All of them have turned to their own way, Shirl Hem La Derek Hem Pana, every man after his own ill-gotten gain and dishonest advantage, Gishla Betzehu, without exception or restraint, Min Katsehu. Yashaya 56:11. Come, let us consent to assemble together and agree to change everything around Otter. We can reach for Lakak, the wine, Yain, drinking alcohol, Sheker, to remain inebriated, Saba. For tomorrow, Machar, will be like, Wahayakar, this day, Zayam, with us more powerful and important, Gadal, even more exalted and wealthier, through the binding nature of religion, Yether, exerting our power and influence, Maud. Yashaya 56:12. Those who are right, Wazadik, will eventually vanish, disappearing such that those who remain will not know where they have gone, Abad. And no one will give it any thought, pondering the implications, Wine 48 Ish Simel Labe. Loyal and devoted individuals, Ish Kesed, will be harvested, gathered together and taken away, Asaph, while no one makes the connection to comprehend what will have occurred, Bar and Bin. For indeed, KY, away from, Min, the presence of, Pana, this disastrous calamity, this wrongdoing, Ra, those who are correct, Hazadik, will be withdrawn, Asaph. Yashaya 57:1. Then, Wa, he will arrive, Bo, on behalf of those who have been reconciled and saved, Shalom. They will be spiritually allied, Nuvak, because of, His Hugh, inviting and confident approach, Mishkab, walking in a manner which is right, fitting, and proper, Holoknakoch, with her, high. Yashaya 57:2. But as for you, Wa Atom, who are present, Karab, here and now, Henna, you are children of fortune tellers who are blowing smoke, Beni Anan, the seed, Zerah, of adultery, of being unfaithful by being religious, Naf, and of prostitution, Wazana. Yashaya 57:3. Over whom and upon what basis, Almai, are you so effeminate and overly sensitive in your exploitation, Anag? Against what and whom, Almai, do you open your mouth and boast, Rachel Pei, sticking out your tongues and prolonging your speeches, Arak Lashon? Are you not, Lo Atom, the children, Yeled, of rebellion who rose up in defiance of authority, Pesha, the seed of, Zerah, vain and useless liars with mistaken beliefs, Sheker. Yashaya 57:4. Are you not those who burn with lust and rage, Harkamam, over the Lamb, Bahar-El? Yashaya 57:5, your fate, Chalakath, and inheritance, Nakal, will be among, Bar, the smooth-talking and insulting flatterers who are thieves, Chelik. Where they go, will be your lot, Shembo Kargoral Arth. Because for them 49 Gamla Hem, you have poured out drink offerings, Shafak, uplifting, Allah, grain offerings, Minsha. For doing such things, Ha-al-El-Li, shall I relent and change my mind, Nacham. Yashaya 57:6. You have descended, lowering yourself by showing regard for, Shah, Moloch, to whom Israelites sacrificed their infants, as if he were sovereign, Laha Moloch, with, bar, oil, semen, and numerous perfumes along with your ointments, Warabaraquak, sending out, Salah, delegations of your anguished envoys, Seirath, as witnesses into perpetuity, Ad, unto the distant separation of, Minrakak, the humbling and lowly status, Shuffle, endured upon reaching, Ad, shall. Yashaya 57:9. With the variation and duration of your long rabbinical, Bar-Rob, journey, your ways, Derekath, have become wearisome, Yaga, but you are never willing to admit, Lo Amar, it is hopeless and futile, Yarash. Reinvigorated, Chea, you have expressed and extended, Matzah, your influence, Yodath, such that you attempt to show no weakness, Al-Ken Lo Shala. Yashaya 57:10. What did you find so troubling that you were afraid of me, Wyf my dog Yer, such that, KY, you became deceptive in so many ways you have become proven liars, weaving your delusions on behalf of a false god, Kazab. You have not thought about these things, nor have you been inclined to, while Lo Simel Labath Joth, be associated with me, Wa Etheni, and you have not mentioned me because you do not remember who I am, Lo Zakar. Have I been negated because I have been silent, Ha Lo Eni Chasha? Has it been so long, Wa Min Olam, you do not respect me and are against me, Wa Etheni Lo Yer? Yashaya 57:11. 50 I will correctly recount your work, accurately portraying your customs and practices, any Nagad Zardaka Athwa Ethmaseath, but it will not be to your benefit, Walo Yalath. Yashaya 57:12, when you finally cry out for help, Bar Zarkath, let your assemblies and what you have accepted, Kaibuzath, save you, Natsalath. Every one of these meaningless and futile things, as if they were a fleeting breath, Wa Eth Shurl Hem Hebel, the spirit, Ruwak, will grasp hold of and carry away, Nasalakak. But, Wa, the one who takes refuge in me, Harchesa Bar Eni, will inherit, Nahol, the material realm, Eres, and become an heir to, Wa Yarash, my set-apart mountain, ha-kodesh eni. Yashaya 57:13. Then someone will make this announcement, Wah-ha-ma, you should choose of your own free will to respect, Silal, this about face, turning around and observing the signs before the appearance, Hannah, of the way, Derek, choosing to take action to remove, Room, the obstructions and impediments which are stumbling blocks, Mikshal, from the elevated path, Min Masala, for my family, Ameni. Yashaya 57:14. 4, KY, thus, Ko, says, Amar, the one who lifts up, Room, and the one who carries away those he has forgiven, Wanasa, who lives, Sarkan, forever as an eternal witness, Ad, the one whose name, Washem Hu, is set apart, Kodesh, he will dwell, Sarkan, in the set apart, Kodesh, heights of heaven, Ma'am, along with, Wa'eth, those slandered for having unpretentiously regretted and corrected their mistakes, Daka, in addition to the spirit, Waruwak, of the abased, Shafal. The spiritually abused, Shafal, will be revived and restored, Lachea, while invigorating, Lachea, the heart, mind and soul, Lab, of the unpretentious and contrite, Daka. Yashaya, 57:15. 51:4, KY, I will not quarrel, contend with, or plead, lo ribe, forever, la olam, nor will my frustration and my righteous indignation, lo katsaf, be unending, la netzak. Indeed, KY, before my appearance, min la pana eni, the spirit, ruwak, will lose contact and ebb away, ataf, along with, wa, the conscience, neshama, I have acted upon and endeavored to engage, asar. Yashaya 57:16. With the perversity and depravity associated with, bar A1, his ill-gotten gain, Betsahu, I was provoked to anger, Katsaf. I lashed out at him, Nakahu, concealing myself, Wa Satar, due to my displeasure, Katsaf. Nonetheless, Wa, he went on backsliding, walking in a rebellious fashion, Holok Shobab, by way, bar Derek, of his thinking and inclinations, Lab Hu. Yashaya 57:17. I have considered, Ra, his ways, Derek Hu, but nonetheless, Wa, I will heal him, Rapha Hu. I will lead and guide him, Naka Hu, to reconciliation and restoration, Shalem, providing comfort and compassion to him, Mishum Imla Hu, and to those who are grieving, Wala Ibel Hu. Yashaya 57:18. When I bring about, Barbara, the fruit, Naub, of the lips, Sappha, there will be reconciliation, fellowship, and redemption, Shalom, for those who are afar, Ha-Rachauk, and for those who are nearby, Wala Ha-Karob, says Amar, Yahowah. Then I will heal him, restoring him to favor and health, Wa Raphahu. Yashaya 57:19. However, Wa, the wickedly wrong and condemnable, the ungodly and unjustified, those who remain errant, Rasha, including those who have been stirred up, will be banished like the retreating tide, Garash, of the sea, Kar-Ha-Yam, because, KY, they cannot remain silent or be at peace. All they know is 52 dissatisfaction and strife, Shakat. They do not have the capacity to understand, and are unable to process this information correctly, they will fail to grasp its meaning and cease to exist, Lo Yakol. And so, Wa, the muck and mire of the malleable and impressionable clay, Refeshwa Tit, of these waters, Maim Hu, will be stirred up and tossed around by the motion of the retreating waves, then expelled and banished like the retreating tide, Garash. Yashaya 57:20. Therefore, Wa, there will be no reconciliation, restoration, or salvation, Ein Shalom, my God says, Amar Elohim Eni, for those who are wrong and unjustified, Rasha. Yashaya 57:21. Choose to call out a summons and proclamation, reading this aloud during the announcement while issuing an invitation to be called out, choosing to recite what is written about the meetings, Kara. Do not spare your throat or hold back in your speech, Bargarden al-Hashak. Lift up, Room, your voice, Cowl Otter, as if it were a shofar, trumpet comprised of the ram's horn which is symbolic of Towrah, Kaha Shofar. Choose to boldly announce this report openly and publicly in a straightforward fashion, conspicuously informing by choosing to convey this warning, Wanagad, to my people, La Eni, to the house of Jacob, to the family of Israel, Wala Beth Jacob, they are in religious rebellion and political revolt, defiant and indignant, Peshahem, and they are wrong, having missed the way, they are forfeiting their opportunity by having gone astray, Chatarchem. Yashaya, Isaiah 58:1. Truth is lacking, and no one is honest, Wahaya ha emith adar. Furthermore, anyone who turns away from what is wrong, so Minra, is victimized and is attacked and discredited, Shalal. Yashaya, 53 Isaiah 59:15, when, Yahowah, Yahowah witnesses this, it is disturbing, Ra, in his sight, Ba in hue, that, indeed, Ky, no one exercises good judgment, Ein Mishpat. Yashaya 59:16. He has looked and seen, Wa Ra, that there was not a single individual, Ky Einsh. So, Wa, he was devastated, Wa Shamam, that there was no one to intercede and plead his case, Ky Ein Paga. It was then, Wa, his Zarawah, the one who sows his seeds and shepherds the flock, Zarawah Hu, came to the rescue of those approaching him, delivering and liberating for him, Yashalah Hu. Therefore, Wa, the realization that he was right and had engaged correctly, Zardaka Hu Asar, was upheld and sustained, Hu Samak Hu. Yashaya, Isaiah 59:17. Seeking recompense in accordance with their deeds, Ka al-Gamawla, he will achieve a sense of final closure, compensating the victims fairly to allow healing, Ka al-Shalem, showing righteous indignation, Kema, toward his opponents and adversaries, La Zahu, by doing what is necessary and deserved, Jemuel, against those showing animosity and rancor toward him, La Oyebhu, against a land of woe surrounded by water with greedy people living along the coasts, this covetous nation spanning between the seas in the midst of a crisis in leadership, La E. He will fulfill the need to obtain restitution, Shalem, based upon what was done and is deserved, Jemuel. Yashaya 59:19, this is the one suited to deliver recompense and restitution, Wagal. So those who are of Yaakov, Waba Yaakov, will turn away from, La Shub, their political revolt and religious rebellion, Pesha, prophetically declares, Naam, Yahowah, Yahowah. 54 As for me, Wa Eni, this is my covenant, Jothbarith Eni, with them, Ethem, announces, Amar, Yahowah, Yahowah. For the benefit of the relationship, Asher, my spirit, Ruach Eni, is upon you, Alotta. And to show the way, Wa Asher, I have placed, Sim, my words, Debar Eni, in your mouth, Bar Peotta. Therefore, what comes out, Wa Min Peotta, shall not fail, Lo Mosh, nor shall anything sown by you, Wa Min Pe Zerotta, not even the declarations sown through your seeds, Wa Min Pe Zerotta, says, Amar, Yahowah, Yahowah, from this moment, Minotta, and forevermore, Wa Adolam. Yashaya 59:20. Choose to rise and be enlightening, Kormwa or, because, Ky, your light has come, Bo'ath. The presence, power, and resulting reward, Karbod of Yahowah, will come forth, visibly shining, Zarak, upon you, Alath. Yashaya 60:1. By contrast, Ky, behold, Hine, ignorance, confusion, and terror, Choshik, will envelop the earth, Kasa Eres, such that an archaic and misled world, Walaam, will be shrouded in darkness, Arafal. But Yahowah will shine upon you, Zarak Alath, and his glorious presence, his power and reward, Karbod Hu, will be seen, Ra, on you, Alath. Yashaya 60:2. Even, the Gentiles, Gawim, will be drawn, Holok, to your light and enlightenment, La or Arth. Those who are thoughtful, Malak, will be attracted to your knowledge and brilliance, La Noga, which has dawned upon you, Zarakath. Yashaya 60:3. Lift up, Nasa, your eyes, Einath, and look, Ra, around at your surroundings, Sabibath. They all gather together, Shurlhem Kabats, and come to you 55 Bolath. Your sons, Beniath, will return, Bo, from afar, Min Rachauk, and your daughters, Wabathath, at your side, Al-Sad, will be cared for and attended to, becoming trustworthy and reliable, a man. Yashaya 60:4. Then, at that time, as, you will be perceived, Ra, as having a positive attitude and joyous countenance, Nahar. He will be respected by some and feared by others, broadly known and mostly revered, Pochod Rachab. As a result of, Ky, your sense of judgment, Libabath, the abundance, Hamon, of the sea, Yam, and the wealth, Shale, of the Gentiles, Gawim, shall come to you, Volath. Yashaya 60:5. Indeed, Ky, those along the shores, have come to confidently expect, Kawa, me, La Eni. So then, the ships, Onya, of Tarshish, will be the first, Bahar Rishon, to bring, La Bo, my son, Ben Eni, from afar, Min Rachauk, along with that which they value, Kezithem, and their medium of exchange, Zahabhem, with them, Ethem. For the name, La Shem, of Yahowah, Yahowah, your God, Elohim-ath, the set-apart one, La Kadosh, of Yisrael, he has honored you, raised you up, and endowed you, Paath. Yashaya 60:9, and so, the children, Beni, of the Naka, observant and responsive foreigner, Naka, will re-establish, Banah, the means of separation and protection, Chamaath, while those who are thoughtful and responsive among them, Malakhem, shall render assistance and serve you, Shiratath. This is because, KY, in my frustration, Barkes if any, I struck you, Nakaath, but now with my acceptance and approval, Varatson any, I will be merciful toward you, Rachamath. Yashaya 60:10. 56 For the Gentile, KY Hagawi, and the nation, Waha Mamlaka, which, Asher will not work or serve, Abad, you will perish, Abadath, and those Gentiles Wahagawim, shall be completely devastated as they fight among themselves and kill one another, Chareb. Yashaya 60:12. The offspring, Beni, of those who abused and afflicted you, oppressing and mistreating you, Anaath, shall walk to you, Holakelath, humbled, crouched over, and bowed down, Shakak, and they will explain themselves, Wachor, at the soles of your feet, Al-Kafregalath, along with all who despised and spurned you, treating you with contempt, Shurl Natzath. Then they will call that which is associated with you, Wakara La Otter, the city, Ear, of Yahowah, Yahowah, of Zion, the signs posted along the way, Zion, by the set-apart one of Yisrael, Kadosh Yisrael. Yashaya 60:14. You will know, Yada, that I, Yahowah, Kyne Yahowah, am your Saviour, Moshiach, and your Redeemer, Wagalath, the Mighty One, Abia, of Jacob. Yashaya 60:16. The sons, Harshemesh, light, or, will no longer be a means of persistent renewal, Lohia, Ode, for you, La Athod, by day, La Yomam, nor the moon, Ha Uraic, a source of information on when to respond, while La Noga, by night, Lael, to provide light, Lo Or, for you, Laath. Instead, Yahowah, will be for you, Hyalath, an everlasting light, or Olam. And your God, Elohaimath, your glorious adornment, La Tiferethath. Yashaya 60:19. Then your family, Nath, will be entirely right, Shurl Zadik. They will be heirs to the land, Hem Yarash Erez, forevermore, La Olam. This observant shoot, 57 Indeed, this sucker from the original rootstock preserving the life of the tree, Netzer, is the one which Yahowah planted, Hamata Yahowah, the work and accomplishment of his hands, Marsei Yod-Hu, to endow a higher status through clarifying explanations, La Pa. Yashaya 60:21. That which is determined and readily known, Hakatan, will be, higher, magnified 1,000-fold, La Ha-Laf, and the child with older siblings, Waha Tsa will be an accomplished and effective Gentile, Gawiatsum. I, Yahowah, Yahowah, am prepared to accomplish this quickly, Chobshai, at the proper time, Bar-Ethai. Yashaya 60:22. Throughout this prophetic narrative, Yahowah's focus has been on three subjects, Daud, his people, Yisrael, who go from bad to better, and the Naka, who is the latter-day Zarah making this possible by bringing them together. It is both humbling and inspiring to know the success we will achieve and to understand how pleased Yahowah is with the result. And let's not forget Yeshaya, Isaiah, because it has been his words that have brought us to this place. At long last they are resonating with his people. This journey through time, bringing us to the years immediately preceding Yahowah's return, continues with the fulfillment of the final Yowbel. The Spirit, Ruach, of Yahowah, is upon me, Aleni. For this reason, Yahowah, has anointed and appointed, Mashach, that which is associated with me, Etheni, for the purpose of bringing this proclamation and uplifting message, Labasar, to the unpretentious and sincere who are ready to respond, Anor. He has sent me, Shalak, to encourage Vash, those whose judgment has suffered because their desires have been shattered and thinking has been 58 impaired, La Shabalab, to provide an invitation, Kara, to be liberated, released from all obligations and emancipated, Daror, on behalf of those who are being controlled, La Shabar, and to those who are obligated and bound, having sworn an oath of allegiance or who have joined in, while Isar, providing a means to extricate oneself from being controlled. Pakak, Kawach, Yashaya 61:1, to issue an invitation, La Kara, to the year, Shanah, of Yahowah, approval and acceptance, favor and reward, Ratzon, also a summons to the day, Yaum, of the vengeance and retribution, Nakam, of our God, La Elohim Anaknu, to comfort and console, Nacham, all who grieve, Shurl Abel. Yashaya 61:2, to provide, La Sim, for those who mourn, Abel, for Zion, to give to them, La Nathan Lahem, an honorable endowment which provides an opportunity to be lifted up, Pa, instead of, Takath, ashes as if insignificant, ephah, olive oil, shemen, resulting in gladness, sason, in place of, takath, mourning over the dead, ebal, garments of adoration and laudable clothing, mate tehillah, instead of, takath, a dark and obscure, weakening and faltering, ka, spirit, ruach. Then, wah, they will be invited and proclaimed as, kara lahem, leaders of the flock who reveal the doorway, el, to being right and vindicated, tzedek, the basis of which was established by, matter, Yahowah, to approach the honorable endowment which provides an opportunity to be lifted up, la pa. Yashaya, Isaiah 61:3. This is the final kara, invitation in the Yowbel year of Yahowah's ratzon, approval and acceptance. It is the last chance to be liberated, redeemed, and return home. 59 Understanding Yahowah's timing requires an appreciation of the Yowbel, not just in timing but also intent. For these insights, we must turn to Kara, called out, Leviticus, to the heart of the Torah. And what we discover is that, while Kara 23 was devoted to presenting the Mikra, Kara 25 is focused almost entirely on the Yowbel. This should not be surprising because they are related topics, with both focused on our reconciliation. As we have learned, the 23rd chapter of Kara details the seasons and substance of the Mikra, regaling us in the purpose and timing of Passover, unyeasted bread, and firstborn children in the spring, with the feast of 7 Shabbats occurring in the summer, and trumpets, reconciliations, and shelters celebrated in the fall. And it is the centerpiece of these, Shaboah, among the invitations to meet with God, which serves as the annual model for the semi-centennial Yowbel celebrations. Although its purpose is foreshadowed by most all of the others, but particularly Chag Matzah and Taruah, Kippurim and Sukkah. By way of a refresher, the festival of Shaboah, promise of 7, is a day set apart for us to celebrate our relationship with Yahowah while capitalizing upon what he is offering. It is observed 7 weeks after Bikurim, which is 50 days after Chag Matzah. This timing in days is replicated in years when determining past or future Yowbel. Shaboah is an opportunity for enrichment and empowerment, of enlightenment and emancipation. It is the day the covenant's benefits are allocated as God honors the promises he made to Abraham. It also marks the time the Torah was revealed, with all Israel assembled before Yahowah to listen to the voice of God. Similarly, Shaboah is open to everyone, free and controlled, Jews and Gentiles, men and women, young and old, even the misguided and confused. 60 It is the only mikra where leavened bread is specifically sanctioned. 7 Shabbats is a come-as-you-are party, designed to underscore the benefits of freedom, a release from debts and bondage. It is a time to promote Yahowah's Torah teaching to those who need it, and to all who are willing to listen. 7 Sevens is God's way of preparing us to share his message and our way to thank him for equipping us to enter his presence. The teaching in Kara, called out, Leviticus 24, is all that separates Yahowah's guidance regarding the Mikra, in the 23rd chapter, and the presentation of the Yowbel in the 25th chapter, suggesting that these things are related. And as we open the 25th chapter of Kara, called out, Leviticus, we find Yahowah addressing a sabbatical year for the benefit of the land, the people, and their relationship. It begins, Yahowah conveyed the word, Wadabar Yahowah, to Moses on Mount Sinai, El Moshe Bar Har Sinai, to say, La Amar, Kara 25-1, speak to the children of Israel, Dabar El Ben Yisrael, and say to them, Wa'amar El Hem, when you enter into the land, Kybo El Ha Eres, which, for the benefit of the relationship, Asher, I am giving to you, any Nathan La Atom, even the land shall observe the Shabat, Wa Shabat Ha Eres, a Shabat unto Yahowah, Shabat La Yahowah. Kara 25-2, 6 years, Shesh Shanah, you can sow, Zerah, your field, Sardei Otter, and for 6 years, Wa Shesh Shanah, you can prune your vines, Zamar Karem Otter, gathering in the fruit of its harvest, Wa Asafeth Tabuah Hai. Kara 25-3. However, Wa, in the 7th year, Bar Ha Shanah Ha Shabi, there will be a Shabat, existing as a Shabbatown, Shabat Shabbatown higher, for the land, La Ha Eres, a 61 Shabat to approach and draw near Yahowah, Shabat La Yahowah. You should not sow, Lo Zerah, your field, Sardei Otter, nor should you prune your vines, Wa Karem Otter Lo Zamar. Kara 25-4. The Shabat of the land will exist, Wa Haya Shabat Ha Eres, for you, La Atom, as a source of food on your behalf, La Kla La Otter, as well as your male and female employees, Wa La Ebed Otter Wa La Amar Otter, your contract workers and seasonal help, Wa La Saka Otter, and even for those who are temporarily residing with you as guests, Wa La Toshab Otter Hagrim Otter. Kara 25-6. This includes, Wa La, your herds and flocks, Behema Otter, and the other animals, Wa La Ha Chea, which are in your land, Asher Bar Eres Otter, with all of its productivity, Haya Shurl Tabuah Hai, as food, La Kal. Kara, called out, Leviticus 25:7. With the importance of the Shabbat firmly entrenched in the minds of the people, we pick up the story of the Yowbel in the 8th verse of the 25th chapter of Torah, called out, Leviticus. You should count, Sapar, you should number and consider, quantify and record, on your behalf, La Otter, for your benefit, 7, Sheba, the oath which fully satisfies, Shabbats, Shabat, celebration of the seventh day, of years, Shanah, time of change and renewal, 7 sevens of years, Sheba Shanah Sheba, as a foundational pattern of conduct, Palm, as a persistent means to guide your steps and base your understanding, and, Wah, this shall be, higher, they should exist, for you, La Otter, for your benefit, time periods, Yom, of 7, Sheba, the oath which fully satisfies, Shabbats, Shabat, occasions to celebrate the promise of the seventh 62 day, of years, Hashanah, time of change and renewal, 49 years, Tesha Araba Shanah, to be observant and squared away. Kara, called out, Leviticus 25:8. Yahweh's Yowbel would reflect his pattern, encapsulating the promise of 7 with his Shabbat. And the timing would not be random. We are to number and record 7 sevens of years. This pattern would be foundational to our conduct of life, providing the steps to understanding. And, Wah, you should extend, Obar, you should in recognition of Passover, pass your breath through, a shofar, ram's horn trumpet, shofar, a pleasing and beautiful, bright and glistening horn to announce an essential message, from Shafar, that which is pleasing, shining beautifully and brightly, that which is good and acceptable, sounding a blast which signals a warning and shouts for joy, providing notice of the doorway to healing, Towrah. Blowing the ram's horn to sound an alarm and gain people's attention, shouting for joyful acclaim, serving as the title of the 5th of 7 mode, Towrah, a compound of Tara, giving the gift of healing and Ruah, announcing triumphant news, on the 10th of the month, Bar HaAsor La HaHadesh, of the 7th month, Bar HaHadesh HaShabi, on the, Bar Ha, Day of Reconciliations, Yom Kippurim, time of the merciful pardon and forgiveness, from Kafar, to atone, cover over, purge, and reconcile. You shall continue to extend, Obar, you should pass your breath through in association with Pesach, hyphal imperfect, a shofar, a ram's horn trumpet to signal an announcement, all throughout your realm, Bar Shel Erez Atom, everywhere in your land. Kara, called out, Leviticus 25:9. Obar is a bit of a puzzle in this passage. Most all English translations render it sound, but there is nothing 63 related to an audible noise in the word. Obar is frequently used to convey the idea of passing or crossing over something, which is why it is associated with Passover. It is only when we consider Obar's fourth connotation that we find to extend. However, extending and blowing a shofar is only a horn making a racket if you don't understand why the trumpet is being extended and miss its connection with Passover. Throughout the Tanakh, the shofar was used to signal and herald the arrival of important events, times, or people. The trumpet played a vital part in calling attention to Yahweh's appointed Mikrei. So, by using it in connection with the Yowbel, we are encouraged to ponder the relationship between the Yowbel and Mikrei, particularly Pesach, prolonging life, and then Shabuah, being empowered and enlightened, followed by Towrah, announcing the message, and Kippurim, providing reconciliation, in the 7th month. And indeed, Shabat, the promise of 7 and Shabat, the 7th day are concepts indelibly woven into the fabric of the Yowbel. While determining the etymological basis for Yowbel is fraught with challenges, its association with the shofar, comprised of a ram's horn, is certain. Not only are Yahweh's preferred titles, El, God, and Ab, Father, written using the depiction of a ram, but there is also the connection with the Pesach El, Passover lamb. Reinforcing this point, as Yeshaya was describing the days preceding Yahweh's return, he wrote, choose to call out a summons and proclamation, reading this aloud during the announcement while issuing an invitation to be called out, choosing to recite what is written about the meetings, Kara. Do not spare your throat or hold back in your speech, Bar Garden al-Hashak. Lift up, room, your voice, Kowlotter, as if it were a 64 shofar, trumpet comprised of the ram's horn, Kaha shofar. Choose to boldly announce this report openly and publicly in a straightforward fashion, conspicuously informing by choosing to convey this warning, Wanagad, to my people, La Eni, to the house of Jacob, to the family of Israel, while Abath Jacob, they are in religious rebellion and political revolt, defiant and indignant, Peshahem, and they are wrong, having missed the way, they are forfeiting their opportunity by having gone astray, Chatarchem. Yashaya, Isaiah 58:1. While the timing of the Yowbel is predicated upon the pattern established by the invitation to be called out and to meet of 7 Shabbats, this statement suggests that its purpose is related to the Day of Reconciliations. This is interesting for a variety of reasons, not the least of which is that Yom Kippurim marks the day Yahweh will return, an event worthy of extending a shofar. It is also the day when all outstanding issues are resolved, so that the covenant is restored with Israel, which is why it is Ratzon Shanah, an acceptable and favored time of renewal. Yom Kippurim is celebrated on the 10th day of the 7th month, which is when we were instructed to extend the Shofar. There are a number of ways to explain the advance warning. First, Yahowah may be reminding Israel of the time he spoke to them about his Torah, where they were given notice to get cleaned up and prepared. Second, the Yowbel is predicated upon 7 sevens, as this statement in Korah clearly indicates, so it is only natural to herald its message in the 7th month. And third, with this announcement referencing Towrah and then occurring on Kippurim, its purpose is flavored by both mode. In affirmation, Towrah and Kippurim were both scribed in Korah 25-9, sandwiched between the 265 references to the extension of the Shofar. Therefore, we should see this as signaling a warning and shouts for joy, providing notice that the day of reconciliations is the final opportunity to restore our relationship with Yahowah. Share the news. Therefore, why, you should set apart, Kodesh, you should choose to dedicate and keep special, and thus uncommon, that which is associated with the 50th year, Eth Shanah HaChamishim. Then, why, you should announce an invitation, Kara, you should call out a summons for a meeting, welcoming everyone, reading and reciting a proclamation to be called out, Kal Perfect, to freedom and liberty, Daror, to a release from servitude and debts, swift and absolute emancipation, throughout the land and on earth, Baha Erez, within the material realm. On behalf of every inhabitant, La Shel Ha Yashab, for all who live, it, I, shall always be, higher, shall continuously and genuinely exist as, Kalim Perfect, a Yowbel, Yahowah's Father and God, Ha Yowbel, Yahowah's signal, the sounding of the trumpet comprised of a ram's horn, symbolizing the power, influence, breath, and message of Yah while denoting the 50-year intervals of time between redemptive occasions, a compound of Yahowah, Ab, Father, Ba, Bai, and El, God, meaning Yahowah, our Father, is God and akin to Yaub. With Yeh and Yowel, Yahowah is God, for you, La Atom. Then, Wah, you should return, Shu, you should choose to restore, Kal Perfect, each individual, each person, to his property and possessions, Ella choose a Hu, to his own land and inheritance, and also, Wah, you should return, Shu, you should restore, Kal Imperfect, a person, each, an individual, to his extended family and people, El Mishpacha Hu, to his 66 tribe, clan, race, country, and nation. Kara, called out, Leviticus 25:10. Therefore, Yahowah is issuing an invitation every 50 years, announced with a shofar during Kippurim, to benefit from a very important and special time for us to be liberated from man's oppressive schemes and free to camp out with our Father and God. Not only is every person's property to be returned to him, but he must also be free to go home and live with his family. This is the first mention of a nationwide edict on freeing slaves, 3,200 years prior to America's Emancipation Proclamation. To put this into perspective, from the outset of recorded history and the emergence of the first tribal systems and then budding civilizations, and continuing with the Assyrians, Babylonians, Egyptians, Hittites, Carthaginians, Greeks, Spartans, and Romans, the world's economies were slave and caste-driven. Wars were fought, invasions were conducted to capture land and people, both of which were considered property. The enslavement of people and the confiscation of property, while still commonplace today, remained pervasive for the first 5,800 years of recorded history, only beginning to ebb in the past 2 centuries. And for most of that time, the Torah was unique in providing for their emancipation. This was not an afterthought, or just a kind gesture. It is central to Yahowah's nature and intent. The first statement he etched on the first of the 2 tablets presents his name and announces his role as liberator. The first of 5 conditions to benefit from the covenant is our liberation from man's oppressive religious and political schemes. And it is during Chag Matzah, Yahowah's initial celebration each year, that we are freed from the stench and stigma of such things. Even Yahowah's most dramatic interaction with humankind occurred as a liberator from Miraim. 67 This, Hi, Yowbel, Yahowah's Father and God, Ha Yowbel, signal from Yah, the sounding of the trumpet comprised of a ram's horn, symbolizing the power, influence, breath, and message of Yah, a compound of Yahowah, Ab, Father, and El, God, Year, Shanah, annual time of renewal, the 50th year, Chamisim Shanah, is for you, Hayala Atom, exists for you to approach and draw near, Kalim Perfect. You should not sow seeds, Lo Zara, you should not plant crops, Kalim Perfect, nor should you reap that which grows on its own, while Lo Kazar Eth Sapayak High, you should not harvest volunteer plants, Kalim Perfect. And, Wah, you should not gather fruit, Lo Batsar, you should not cut or harvest grapes, from unpruned and untended vines, Eth Natsahai. Kara, called out, Leviticus 25:11. Not only would slaves be emancipated during the Yowbel, but those who work the land would be freed from planting the harvest while the land itself would be unburdened. Free, indeed. There may be more to this instruction than initially meets the eye. With Lo Zara, we could also be asked not to scatter our children, in effect, separating them from growing as part of God's family. With Lo Kazar, the message could be that we should not shorten a life, cutting it off shy of the intended duration. Then since Sapayak represents that which grows wild on its own, we might see this as being apart from God's Torah guidance. Even with Lo Batsar, the encouragement may be to avoid cutting clusters of ripened fruit from the vine which is Yisrael. After all, those who are Batsar are brought down from a high status to a lower one, something Yah wants us to avoid. And finally, a Natsar, as an untended vine, lies outside of God's care, His protection and nurturing. Then we are reminded. 68 This is because, High, the set-apart, Kodesh separating and special, Yowbel, Yahowah's Father and God, Ha Yowbel, signal from Yah, the sounding of the trumpet comprised of a ram's horn, symbolizing the power, influence, breath, and message of Yah, a compound of Yahowah, Ab, Father, and El, God, exists for you to approach and draw near, Hayalatam, annual time of renewal. From, Min, out of, the open field, Sardeh, expanse of land and countryside, you shall eat, Akal, you should be nourished, what it produces, Ethtabuahai, its productivity and yield, from Bo, what comes from it. Kara, called out, Leviticus 25:12. In other words, God is going to provide for us. In this, the year of the Yowbel, Bar Shanah Ha Yowbel Ha Zeth, mankind, each, should return, be restored, and come back home, Shub, to his land and as his possession to receive his inheritance, El Chuzahu. Kara, called out, Leviticus 25:13. Our return to Yahweh is predicated upon redemption, Dowd paying the price to ransom us. This restoration of spiritual relations will be manifest for Israel on Kippurim during the Yowbel year of 6,000 Yah so that the remnant of the people can camp out with God during Sukkah. Therefore, let's celebrate the fulfillment of the first four mode in 33C and look forward to the fulfillment of the final two in 2033, years 4,000 and 6,000 Yah. Israel was redeemed in 33, and will be restored in 2033. God has dealt fairly with us, and He wants us to do the same with others. After all, He saved us from the worst of human religious and political oppression. And so, when, you sell merchandise, Makar, you market goods and services, to your associates, neighbors or countrymen, La Mithota, 69 or, you purchase something, Kana, you buy from the hand, Minyod, of your associate, neighbor, or countryman, a Mithota, do not mistreat or take advantage of, Yana, you should never cheat or harm, Hyphal imperfect Yosef, one another, Ish Ethu. Kara, called out, Leviticus 25:14. Treat one another fairly. Do not overcharge and do not underpay. Provide a quality product and market it appropriately. Tell the truth and follow through as promised. Yah's testimony is overtly supportive of personal freedom, and individual accountability, and his strong preferences for limited governmental influence in our lives. As such, his positions favor free enterprise over socialism, communism, or fascism. However, since some are wont to ignore his advice and take advantage of others, every Yowbel, or 50 years, Yahweh wants indebtedness forgiven and property redistributed to prevent the few lording over the many, albeit not through confiscatory taxation as is all too common today. In accord with the number of years, Bar Mitzvah Shanah, after, Achar, the Yowbel, Ha Yowbel, you can acquire things and pay for them, Kana, from your associates, neighbors or countrymen, Minethamith Otter, according to an accounting of the number of years, Bar Mitzvah Shanah, an inventory of the time, of yield, productivity, and resulting income, Tabuah, of the value of what can be grown and revenue from the harvest, resulting from the sale and exchange, Lamakar. Kara, called out, Leviticus 25:15. This is a form of accrual-based accounting where the effect of the Yowbel is calculated in advance of an intended transaction. If there will be 45 years of use of the desired land or personal property before the next Yowbel, its value 70 is much greater than if there were only 5 years remaining prior to their return. Yahweh chose this interval for a number of reasons, the most important of which is that 40 Yowbel would mark the time between redemptive events. 40 designates the completion of a period of testing and evaluation, and with the Yowbel spanning 50 years, the interval between the fulfillment of these events would be 2,000 years. For example, Adam and Shor were expelled from the garden in year 0 year, 3968 BC. The covenant, which provides the way for us to be re-included in God's family, was confirmed with Abraham, Sarah, and Yitzhak in year 2000 year, 1968 BC. The first four mode were fulfilled in 33 CE or year 4000 year by Dowd and the Ruach Kodesh. 40 Yowbel thereafter, in 2033, year 6000 year, Yahowah will return with his son and our Messiah and King, Dowd, to fulfill the final two Mikre. And speaking of the man who is central to God's story, he lived in the exact center of this time. The other reason for the 50-year interval between Yowbel is a bit more mundane and pragmatic. A person's productive years spanned from 15 to 40 in ancient times, allowing a father to pass on what he achieved during his lifetime to his son, but for only one generation. And even today, with longer lifespans, a person is productive from 20 years old to 70, allowing him or her to facilitate a privileged start for sons and daughters, but nothing more. In this way, there would be no limits to what a person could achieve so long as they were honest, but there would be no enduring stratification between rich and poor. The only exceptions would be through the two institutions Yahowah most opposed, religion and government. The message of the Yatzah, Exodus is that Yahowah freed his children from the oppressive nature of human religious, political, military, and economic schemes. The 71 last thing he wants is for his children, the victims of abuse, to victimize others. He instructed. So then, you should never mistreat or take advantage of, Yana, you should never harm, suppress, or oppress, imperfect, any person, ish, or his associate, neighbor, or countryman, ethamith. You should respect, you should value, even revere, perfect, your God, min Elohayota, because, by contrast, ky, to make an important distinction, I am, Yahowah, Yehovah, our Eloah, God as directed in his Torah, teaching regarding his existence and our Shalom, restoration, your God, Elohim Otter. Kara 25:17. In addition, you should engage in and act upon, asar, you should attend to and capitalize upon, perfect, my prescriptions for living, my clearly communicated and written instructions on how to be cut into the relationship, and be allocated a share. Furthermore, you should consistently observe, Shema, you should continually and closely examine and carefully consider, imperfect, my method of exercising good judgment regarding the means to justly resolve disputes, mishpat making an informed and reasoned decision regarding my plan to be just and fair. When, you do this, asar you engage in this way with them, then, you will live, established and restored, yasab, you will dwell, upon the land and earth, al-ha'eres within the realm, with confidence based upon trust, la betach, securely by relying upon a trustworthy source. Kara, called out, Leviticus 25:18. The secret to a long life, to eternal life, is to know that Yahowah is God and to respect him as such while acting 72 upon his prescriptions for living and observing his means to exercise good judgment, and resolve disputes. Even the homeless man, the widow, and the orphan are rich beyond kings. This is an especially interesting revelation because it explains who is working and who is not. And should you say, what, shall we eat, akal, in the 7th year, Shanah, recognizing that, we will not sow our seed nor harvest, lo zara wa lo asaf, our crop, tabua and aknu. Kara 25:20. I will direct and orchestrate, wazawa, I will instruct, appoint, ordain, and assign, my blessings baraka my gifts of prosperity, for you in the 6th, la atam Shanah shishi, such that it will provide, wasar, it will produce, the yield, tabua, the productivity, crop, and harvest, of 3 years, la shelash Shanah. Kara, called out, Leviticus 25:21. This is so He isn't asking us to believe him, for us to hope that he will perform as promised. Instead, he has put his reputation on the line and said that he would perform in advance of our need, proving to us that he is dependable. Moreover, he has promised to exceed our expectations, creating a windfall, 3 years of productivity in the 6th year and a vacation in the 7th. It is even prophetic, symbolic of what we are achieving in the waning hours of the 6th day estranged from the garden in anticipation of celebrating the 7th day during our return. Also telling, Yahowah isn't asking us to do anything other than to place our trust in him and rely upon him. This is what happens when we observe and then act upon 73 the terms and conditions of the covenant. Our reliance becomes the catalyst to Yah's blessings. So now here's another interesting thought. Yahowah is saying that the land of Israel, and perhaps even the entire earth, are his. And this is because there are strangers who are alien to his family just passing through, and who will not survive into the 7th millennium. Therefore, God's family should not be deprived of our inheritance, and those who are not part of God's plans will not have paid for something that will be taken from them. There are 4 ways then to view this instruction that the land shouldn't be permanently sold. The first, is that Yahowah would have preferred that it be leased for 50-year intervals, with ownership returning to him, and thus the Beth, home, temple treasury, during the Yowbel. The second is that those who are estranged from the covenant have no eternal inheritance. Therefore, they cannot own what they cannot possess. Third, as we return to the Garden of Eden, the concept of property ownership will be a thing of the past. The covenant family will inherit the planet, solar system, and entire universe. There is plenty to share. And fourth, the children of Israel would spend most of the next 3,400 years running away from Yahowah and thus disinherited. And so, while the land is God's to give, it belongs to the covenant's children and not to political or religious aspirants. The land, YYV7C2, the earth, shall not be sold or given up, lo makar, should not be surrendered, and ownership shall not always be transferred for money or bequeathed upon death, nephil imperfect, permanently or into perpetuity, la zamithuth, completely, finally, or forever, because, ky, the land and earth, ha-eres, the material world, are mine, la any. 74 For as, ky, strangers, aliens lacking inherited rights, unrelated foreigners, and, temporary residents, toshab, those just passing through who quarrel and stir up trouble, you are with me, atom imad any. Kara, called out, Leviticus 25:23. Obviously, the fourth option prevails over the other three considering Yahowah's explanation. His people have disinherited themselves. Fortunately, at least for a remnant, their status is about to change for the better. And, in all the land, Barshel Eres you possess, Achusa Atom, you have inherited and own, you will be offering, Nathan, you will be giving and providing, restoration and redemption, Gawla, as you bestow this gift, Nathan, you should entrust and ascribe, to the land, Laha Eres. Kara, called out, Leviticus 25:24. On the surface, this is sound agricultural practice and land management. Fields have to sit fallow on occasion to recharge and be restored, or else they are depleted of nutrients and crops fail. Beyond this, Yahowah is the Gawla, kinsman redeemer of Yahweh, and will soon be restoring not only Israel but the entire earth. Yahowah continues to speak of Gawla, redemption and restoration in the context of the Yowbel throughout the remaining 25 verses, all of which are dedicated to the release of people, possessions, and burdens every 50th year, providing liberty and freedom for all. Under instructions from Yahowah, all slaves were to be freed so that they could return to their families. All land was to be restored to the original owner. All temporary obligations were resolved. Israel was instructed to do this so that they would recognize and know their Redeemer. Before we move on, please consider this review of Yahowah's Yowbel. 75 You should count, considering, numbering, and recording, Wasapah, on your behalf, La Otter, 7, Sheba, Shabats, Shabat, of years, Shanah, 7 sevens of years, Sheba Shanah Sheba, as an enduring means to guide your steps and as foundational pattern to enhance understanding, Palm. And, this shall be, higher, for you, La Otter, time periods, Yaum, of 7, Sheba, Shabbats, occasions to celebrate the promise of the 7, Shabat, years, a time of change and renewal, Hashanah, of 49 years to be observant and squared away, Tesha Araba Shanah. Kara 25:8. And, you should extend, Obar, a shofar, ram's horn trumpet, a pleasing and beautiful, bright and glistening horn to announce an essential message, shofar, sounding a blast which signals a warning and shouts for joy, providing notice of the doorway to healing in concert with Towrah, on the 10th of the month, Bahar Sol Laha Hadesh, of the 7th month, Bahar Hadesh Ha-Shabi, on the, day of reconciliations, time of the merciful pardon, and forgiveness, Yom Kippurim. You shall continue to extend in recognition of Passover, Obar, a shofar, all throughout your realm, Barshel Eres Atom. Kara 25:9. Therefore, you should set apart as special and uncommon, Kodesh, that which is associated with the 50th year, Shanah Ha-Chamishim. Then, you should announce an invitation, calling out a summons for a meeting, welcoming everyone, reading and reciting a proclamation to be called out, Kara, Kal Perfect, to freedom and liberty, a release from servitude and debts, Daror, throughout the land and on earth, Bahar Eres. 76 On behalf of every inhabitant and for all who live, La Shel Ha-Yashab, it, shall continually be, higher, a Yowbel, because Yahowah is Father and God, Ha-Yowbel, for you, La Atom. Then, you should return and restore, Shub, each individual, Ish, to his property and possessions, to his own land and inheritance, Elachuzahu, and also, you should return, Shub, a person, Ish, to his extended family and people, El Mishpachahu. Kara 25:10. This, Hi, Yowbel, Yahowah's father and God, Ha Yowbel, year, Shanah, the 50th year, Shamisim Shanah, is for you, existing for you to approach and draw near, Hi Alatam. You should not sow seeds, Lo Zara, nor should you reap that which grows on its own, Wa Lo Kazar eth Sapayak Hi. And, Wa, you should not gather fruit, Lo Batsar, from unpruned and untended vines, Eth Natsar Hi. Kara 25:11. This is because, Ky Hi, the set apart, Kodesh Yowbel, Yahowah's father and God, Ha Yowbel, exists for you to approach and draw near, Hi Allah Atom. From Min, the open field, Sardeh, you shall eat, Akal, what it produces, Eth Tabuah Hi. Kara 25:12. In this, the year of the Yowbel, Bar Shanah Ha Yowbel Ha Zeth, mankind, each, should return, be restored, and come back home, Shub, to his land and as his possession to receive his inheritance, El Chuzahu. Kara 25:13. And so, when, Ky, you sell merchandise, marketing goods and services, Makar Mimkar, to your associates, neighbors, or countrymen, La Mith Otter, or, you purchase something, Kana, from the hand, Minyod, of your associate, neighbor, or countryman 77 a Mith Otter, do not mistreat or take advantage of, Yana, one another, Ish Eth Achu. Kara 25:14. In accord with the number of years, Bar Mitzvah Shanah, after, Achar, the Yowbel, Ha Yowbel, you can acquire things and pay for them, Kana, from your associates, neighbors, or countrymen, Minethamith Otter, according to an accounting of the number of years, Bar Mitzvah Shanah, of yield, productivity, and resulting income, Tabuah, resulting from the sale and exchange, La Makar. Kara 25:15. So then, you should never mistreat or take advantage of, Yana, any person, Ish, or his associate, neighbor, or countryman, Ethamith. You should respect, your God, Min Elahai Otter, because, by contrast and to make an important distinction, Ky, I am, any, Yahowah, Yahowah, your God, Elohim Otter. Kara 25:17. In addition, you should engage in and act upon, Asar, my prescriptions for living, Eth Chukka Eni. Furthermore, you should consistently observe, Shema, my method of exercising good judgment regarding the means to justly resolve disputes, Eth Mishpat Eni. When, you do this, Asar Eth, with them, Eth Hem, then, you will live, established and restored, Yashab, upon the land and earth, Alha Eres, with confidence based upon trust, La Beitach. Kara 25:18. And should you say, Ky Amar, what, shall we eat, Akal, in the 7th year, Vaha Shabi Shanah, recognizing that, we will not sow our seed nor harvest, Lo Zara wa Lo Asaf, our crop, Tabuah and Aknu. Kara 25:20. I will direct and orchestrate, Wazawa, my blessings, Eth Baraka Eni, for you in the 6th, La 78atum Baha Shanah Ha Shishi, such that it will provide, Wasar, the yield, Eth Ha Tabuah, of 3 years, La Shalash Ha Shanah. Kara 25:21. The land, and even the earth, Waha Eres, shall not be sold or given up, Lo Makar, permanently or into perpetuity, La Zamithuth, because, Ky, the land and earth, Ha Eres, are mine, La Eni. For as, Ky, strangers, and, temporary residents just passing through, Toshab, you are with me, Atamimad Eni. Kara 25:23. The order of the day is freedom from bondage, debts, and the influence of others. In this way the Yowbel serves as an affirmation of the first condition of the covenant. We must be unencumbered before entering Yahowah's presence, having walked away from the controlling influences of government and religion, the caste system and societal limitations.